What's up guys, this is Tyrone Trinity, and today we're going to shift a little bit from the whole unboxing and the product reviews, and we're going to talk about the essential tools that a diesel tech student needs. Disclaimer, this essential tools depends on your community college's needs, so don't quote me on everything that's on my tool bag. And also, this does not apply for Wyotech or UTI or any for-profit school that you guys will go to or are going to go to. But like I said, this is only for community college only in America. I have looked around, and if you go to Matco online and look for the Student Tech's website, and you will see that the essential tools that we need are very similar to each other, so I will base it off on that. Alright guys, if you haven't recognized this tool bag right here, I got this tool bag from Harbor Freight about 2 years ago because I don't know what I need for my first job, so I got it anyways. I didn't know it's going to be that useful till today. So we're going to focus on the tool bag, and I'll talk about the gear wrench later. Alright, so the tool essentials that you're going to need depends on what class are you taking currently. So for me, I started taking electrical and braking system. So the first thing on my tool bag would be the DVOM. This DVOM is pretty cheap because I had the student discount. I know I've been saying it a lot and I've been abusing it. Why not, right? If it saves me like 50% off, why not? Actually, it's 60% on Matco. But yeah, I got this for 60 bucks, and it basically does everything. Your regular voltage, your amps. This DVOM does pretty much everything that you need for a basic DVOM. Yes, you can buy a cheaper one for like 20 bucks in Amazon or Harbor Freight, or even cheaper than that, but it doesn't have the auto ranging. Auto ranging is when you're testing a lead or anything and you had to adjust what amps or voltage has the limit. But this thing does it for you, and actually it records too, so that's why I like it. And be careful letting other students use your DVOM, because when I was in class, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I do kind of know what I'm doing, but he basically blew my fuse, and I had to get a 15 amp fuse. So it comes with a 10 amp fuse, so you don't have to worry about that. But the 15 amp fuse cost me about 15 bucks in Amazon, so that's, I don't know, can't really complain. But just be careful letting other students use your DVOM. Plus, if they don't have their own tools, they're failing the class anyways. Alright, the next thing on my tool bag is going to be mechanics gloves. I had this since deployment. Like you see, I washed this about like 3 times already. It's still pretty dirty. I soaked it in soap. I don't think I'm going to use a bunch of my tubbo towels just to clean this, but yeah, just the basic gloves. It says on the list, so I just bought it anyways. I'm not going to buy a new glove just for something I'm barely going to use. And like I said, for electrical class, you're going to need a mini toolkit screwdriver. You're gonna be opening a lot of circuits in the class. I got this in O'Reilly's for like 10 bucks, so it's not bad. It looks nice too. And believe me, most students are not gonna buy their own tools, and they borrow this. I almost lost this because they've been borrowing it a lot. And good thing, before I went home or before the class ended, I tracked this down, and guess who has it? The guy who borrows it a lot and doesn't want to return it anymore. So get these. It's pretty nice. If you're it's one of those essential. It's not actually on the tool list, but what's in the tool list is one of these, the Red Barn, or a little pocket screwdriver, which it will help, but that's why some of the screwdrivers, bolts and stuff are like stripped out already, because they've been using the wrong tools. The next one's gonna be some kind of wire crimper. It doesn't have to be too fancy. I have this actually for 5 years now, and I remember I was working on my motorcycle and I need to get the LED on the side marker. I use this to splice it. I don't think this is even the USA made. I think this is China. Not quite sure. I'm not familiar with Stanley, but just a basic one. That's good enough. And let's go to the next one. iPro. So one of the requirements in class is an iPro. It has to be shatterproof iPro. So we are big on safety. If you're in the trucking or automotive industry, or just in being a tradesman, you had to have you had to be mindful that you had to wear some kind of PPE when you're in this industry or in any tradesman industry, because it prevents liability. Also, if the company told you to wear PPEs and you fail to wear PPEs, they might not cover anything on your expense side. So wear your PPEs, guys. And it does require us to wear steel toe boots, but our professor is pretty lenient about that. But I want to be squared away and bought a carbon toe. As a steel toe is way too heavy, so I bought a carbon toe Timberland boots that you've probably seen on my Tumble Towels review. So that's that. Next one is gonna be, well, I'm not gonna move on to this yet. The next one is gonna be a 7-way cherry light testing. So this one is Matco, and I got it for like 30 bucks. So as you know, diesel techs or diesel mechanics or diesel in industry, we deal with 7-way pins. So on the test in the electrical, you're gonna wire a circuit that lights up the side marker, brake lights, and headlights, low beams, and brake switch, all that into a 7-way pin to the trailer. So to test that, you're gonna need one of these. It's not one of those things that you have to buy. It's not a requirement. But the professor has these. He has one of these, and he doesn't really let us borrow it, so I bought one for myself. But it does help. So not essential, but it does help. It does help. This is, I have wrist problems, so yeah, from too much wrenching. All right, so a little dirty jug over there. So I'm gonna switch over to braking system. So we are, before all this COVID-19 started happening, we are going to transition to braking system, but we never had a chance because they had to cancel the school, and all this 6 feet is not gonna work in the lab. And I bought this DeWalt to measure the slack adjuster, the carpenter's measuring tape. 10 bucks in Home Depot. That's a pretty good deal. Hopefully it's made in the US, so America. But yeah, next one is gonna be just this. I have one of these. They want me to buy, it says on the list, buy a slack adjuster wrench or something, but I don't want to do that yet. I actually bought one, and it's coming on the tool hole, and just the Husky 916. That's what it says on the toolkit list, or tool essential kit list. So that's what I got. And what else? I have a tire gauge or a brake caliper gauge. I should have bought the one that's the red, yellow, and green ones. I think that's better than this. I think this is pretty hard. I used to use this at my other job to measure the the seconds for the tires. But this is only like $5 in Amazon, so why not buy this? You're gonna need this for if you want to measure the brake calipers. If you got to the braking system, brake disc system of the class, you will need to measure. Well, you don't really need to measure the Bendix braking system or air disc system, but it's just good to have one. That's about it. It's a pen. You should need a basic pen. You're gonna need to write down some stuff. a notebook, or I would prepare a binder so you can just compile all your stuff. We're gonna move on to my, alright, the final thing that's on my tool bag but not really on my tool bag is my gear wrench 110 piece mechanic set. They get on a tool list that we need. It doesn't, most of this thing you don't need it, but it's just good to have it. And so I bought this one anyways for $110. You can buy the 300 piece set, that's up to you, but that's just too much to carry when you're out and about. But this is all the basic things that you need, and you're mainly going to use this for on the chassis program or chassis class in the PM class. And on the braking system, yes, you're probably going to need a couple. And the engine class, yes, you're going to need to use some of these. But this is a good set, but my only gripe about it is, if you guys have been watching my channel, I do not like 12 points. To me, I don't know, I had a really bad experience on 12 point, and that's why I don't want to use 12 point unless I really had to, or the bolt or the nut is a 12 point. That's the only time I'm going to use it. But other than that, I am not going to use a 12 point. I'm sorry. So has a 1/2 inch ratchet locking. So, and this is pretty rough, by the way, but again, it's $110, so that's like what, 22. All right, and 3/8. It's a little bit smoother. It gets smoother when it gets smaller. A 1/4 inch. And we'll move closer. All right, so it does have a nut driver, your Allen wrench, standard Allen, and so the 3/8 drives and the 1/4 inch are 6 point, but the 1/2 inch is 12 point. I don't know why most tool company does that. Like, okay, the 1/4 inch to 3/8 drive, it's 6 point, but when it comes to 1/2 inch, they transition to 12 point. Like, who would do that? All right, so that's my pet peeve. So the 3/8 runs from 10 to 19, and the standard 3/8 runs from 3/8 to 3/4. 1/4 inch runs from 4 to 13, and the standard sides, it runs from 5/32 to a 1/2 inch. The deep impact runs from 3/8 to 3/4. 3/8 drive, they don't, for some reason they didn't provide they didn't include the 1/2 inch deep impact, or 1/2 inch deep. But it would have been nice and just to remove all this, because you don't really need this much of a hex when you're in class, because they're not gonna let you use any power tools in class, just basic things, unless you're removing tires. Other than that, no, you're just gonna be using your hand tools. Came with 1/2 inch extension and 3/8 extension. I don't know how long this is, and a 1/4 inch extension, and also a spark plug socket, 5/8 spark plug sockets, some wrenches that runs from 10 to 12, which is the pretty basic one, 12 to 14, and then on the standard side of wrenches, it runs from 3/8 to 7/16, and a 1/2 inch to 9/16. So this is pretty basic. Like, this is more for the automotive industry, but the reason why I bought this is I don't really need to buy too much sockets and too much of these. I have too much tools already, and just using it for school, that's fine. And I might sell this in the future. I might just give it away. If I don't need it anymore, I'm just gonna give it away. And that's about it. Alright guys, so that's about it for my tools, and I like the fact that we don't have to buy a lot of things. And I know in Biotech or UTI they make you buy more things, and this is from my friend's perspective, not mine, so I don't know what's going on, so don't quote me on that. Also, I've been getting a lot of DMs in Instagram about question if being a 91 Bravo or all-wheel diesel mechanic in the Army is a good MOS or job, military job. I would say it depends. I came in to the Army not knowing just the basic things of the automotive industry or anything, but diesel industry, I have no idea. When I joined, I came in with a blank slate. I was 26 years old, just had a baby, and I had to do something with my life. So I decided to join the Army just to advance myself, or just to get ahead, just feeling accomplishment. So if you're 18 and 19 years old and you don't know what you're gonna do with your life, and you want to be in the diesel or automotive industry, and you will ask me if you want to join, I would say yes. You know why? Because Biotech, UTI, or any non-profit school will cost you about 60 grand, and with financial aid probably would downgrade it more, plus the cost of driving there, everything. So if you join as a all-wheel diesel mechanic, and I'm not trying to sound like a recruiter, but you will kind of get a gist of what's in diesel industry. The downside of joining the military could vary where you go, what branch or what unit, or at least when I talk about branch, I'm talking about if it's a reservist. I am a reservist, by the way, but our National Guard, you probably don't have to touch your tools. But the advantage of joining the National Guard and a reservist is you can wrench on every other weekend. You know, you can wrench every month, probably not, because on drill days we focused on battle drills, like going to the range, training, stuff like that, online classes. So if you're gonna be in the reserve, just know that if you're a mechanic, you're not gonna be wrenching a lot. You might get put on orders or on your AT, which is the 2 week a month, which is BS because it's never 2 weeks. I never had a AT that goes for 2 weeks. It's more than that. Sometimes it's a month, but they make it like, you know, close to a month, so you don't get the BAH. And anyways, we get back to the point is, if you're in active duty, depends on where you go. I have people that I went to AIT with, which I'm gladly friends with still in the Army, that some of them, they don't wrench at all. Some of them wrench every day, and some of them like wrench here and then. Some of them work 12 hours. So again, experience varies in the military, but finish your 3 years or however long it is, get some experience. And if you're in high school, or you just got out in high school and you don't know what you're gonna do with your life, and you don't have money for college because you're not that smart, so just join the military. It's one of those things that it's gonna suck, but it brings so much honor to your family. I came in here as an immigrant, 13 years old, from the Philippines, and I tried to join the Navy. I was too naive to pass the Navy, and I was 21, but I know that in my heart that I would join the military. So when it's time for me to pick an MOS, they gave me 88 mics, which is a truck driver. They gave me some engineering jobs, which is pushing dirt, or carpenter, and 91 Bravo, and one more. It's like a striker mechanic. I didn't know what a striker is. It's just an APC, or it's a troop carrier, that's armored troop carrier. So what are you gonna do as a 91 Bravo? Is you're a glorified parts changer, lube tech. That's all you're ever gonna do. You don't break down any engine. You probably, if there's time, if your commander or your motor sergeant will allow it, But other than that, man, you don't really do that much complicated things. You're just a glorified parts changer. If you don't know what a parts changer is, that's what makes a difference of a tech and a mechanic. A mechanic change parts, a tech diagnose and troubleshoot things. So, and no offense to all mechanics out there, I got much love for y'all, but I'm just saying, you don't get to do those things. You do troubleshoot things, and it's called a technical manual or a TM. So what this is, it will dumb it down for you in every piece of detail so you don't mess up when you're working on a vehicle. So for example, they even told you what to wrench to grab, what socket to grab to, and what the torque spec is. So if you fail to torque it or something wrong with your installation, it means you didn't read the TM, and that can get you a lot of trouble. So let me sum it all up. If you are 18 and 19 years old, you don't know anything about the industry, and you don't know what to do with your life, yeah, join. It's an adventure that you're never gonna forget. It might suck, you might have fun, but it's one of those things that will bring honor to your family because you join. I know in California and some parts of the Pacific, they don't like military. I don't know why. We didn't do anything wrong to them. We're just following orders, whatever. But to me, yes, join the military. You're gonna have fun. Some days gonna suck. Some days, I would say the highs are the highs, the lows are the lows. When the motivation is high and the lowest can get is honestly like suicide. Yeah, it does happen to a lot of privates these days, and I pray for them, and that's about it. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching all the way through this part, and I just want to say thank you for all the love and the comments, and the Tubbo Towels got like 1,000 something views now. I don't know why. That video for me, I have a pretty high standard, but that video for me, it's okay. It doesn't suck, but it doesn't exceed the YouTube standard. Alright guys, that's it for me. But before I end this video, I do have a question. Would you let your son or daughter join the military for a specific MOS? Comment down below and give this video a like, subscribe, and have a good day. Alright, I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek on the next hole. It's gonna be a big one. So this box right here, I had to cut it down because there's too many big boxes. So I had to just combine them all together. It's full of stuff. Gray pneumatics dual socket. You guys seen that already? So tune in and subscribe to my channel to see the hole, and the big purchase is still in the process. They're still making it. If you know what I mean, they're still making it. It's gonna take a minute because it's gonna be a beautiful color. Alright, peace.